Hi, everyone. This is Christine Harrington, the Savvy Sales Lady. And if you ever talk to me and you ask me how I am, you know my standard question or my standard answer is, I'm groovy. I hope you're groovy today, too. And today's broadcast is about fake or real. But first, I screwed up last week on the broadcast. I said we would be doing every Monday at 1 o'clock because, frankly, last week, we had New Year's Day, the holiday, on Monday. And in my head, I was thinking on Tuesday it was Monday. Did you follow that? So I was confused last week. We will be meeting, doing a live broadcast every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And I kind of picked that time because it may be a lunchtime for some. I know depending on where you're located, it could be, 11 o'clock or whatever. But I tried to do an in-between time that you could catch this while you were on a lunch break or just a break. And I'm going to try to make these just at 15 minutes because I know your time is valuable and I want to just give you just quick hits of information that you can start using right away. So let's just dive into today's topic, fake or real. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you saw my Instagram post, my Facebook post, from yesterday, I posted a series of graphics that said a fake buyer versus a real buyer. How can you tell the difference? Now, why is this important? Because during my coaching sessions, I watch, and I did the same thing when I was a new sales rep. If I got a lead, man, I hung on to that lead for dear life, whether I sold it or not. And if I didn't sell it, I just kept thinking, one day he'll buy, one day he'll buy. I'm just going to keep this in my pipeline because I know one day he'll buy. Chances are he's never going to buy. And don't weigh yourself down with these unnecessary buyers who never intended to buy in the first place. So let me tell you what's going on with the fake buyer. Chances are he's working with a vendor that the renewal of the product is coming up or the negotiations are started, and he wants to hold, or she wants to hold, her vendor feet to the fire to negotiate a lower price. So they'll send out all of these requests for bids or for proposals or quotes so that they can get in some of these different pricing ranges. And then what they'll do is they'll find the cheapest price and they'll take it back to their vendor and say, if I went with ABC company, I can get this price. I need for you to negotiate a price. If you're in sales, you've all been there. They've done that, right? Well, when you're on the receiving end, selling to them, providing them quotes, providing them proposals, you take it seriously. The fake buyer doesn't take it seriously. They're using you to hold their vendors' feet to the fire to get a cheaper price. It happens all the time. As many of you know, primarily my career was in group sales, group benefit sales in the insurance space. I would get sometimes 100, 200 requests for a quote in a couple of months. And I would have to sort through to figure out which ones were the serious ones and which ones only wanted a price, and that was it. The fake buyer, right? So they could hold their carrier feet to the fire. So the fake buyer will always lead with price. Give me your best price. Give me your cheapest price. Can you add on any discounts? Those kinds of conversations will happen. And when they send you in a request for a proposal or a quote or a bid, that's what they're going to say. Well, the real buyers, what they'll do is ask you a different question. How is your product different from the product that I'm already using? Or how is your implementation team going to roll this out if we decide to go with you as our new vendor? They'll ask more technical questions instead of just hitting hard on price. So you really want to understand the difference between the fake buyer and the real buyer. One of the other things that you can do with the fake buyer that I started doing is when I would get in, and I do it to this day, actually, in my business, I do this. Just the other day on Sunday, I had someone text me that said, hi, this is Josh. I'm interested to know about your coaching and your pricing. Okay, 2 clues. First of all, no one ever texts me. They go through my website and they send me an email. So that was red flag number 1. Red flag number 2, he wanted pricing right off the bat. Didn't ask me any other questions other than wanted to know more about my business and wanted my pricing. I knew right away, this is a fake buyer. So when they lead like that, I always go back and I say, thank you for your inquiry, but I don't work that way. You'll need to book a 30-minute consultation with me so I can assess what your needs are and to see if we are a fit, and you can ask me questions during that 30-minute session. Well, of course, I never heard back from him. And a serious buyer, a real buyer will commit to that. They'll commit to having conversations with you. And I do that for a reason. If they're going to take 30 minutes of their time, chances are they are a real buyer. Now, here's another clue that happened often to me, and I'm sure you'll relate to this too, where someone sends you an email or sends you an inquiry about your services. And when you follow up and when you engage with them through email or whatever their preferred method is, and they say to you, when I always say, let's book a 30-minute consultation, or in my group benefits days, I would say, let's pick a date and time that's good for you, that we can have maybe a 20-minute conversation before I do your proposal. Boy, did I weed out a lot of fake buyers by doing that when I was in the group benefit days. And one particular prospect comes to mind about this happened back in 2019. And this was an inquiry for my business, and I did the whole spiel about booking a 30-minute consultation. And he said back, I only have 10 minutes. I can give you 10 minutes. And I said back to him, I'm sorry, but that will not work. I'll need more time than 10 minutes to assess whether I can help you and what your needs are and whether I can help your team. And he pressed back again and said, well, I can give you 15 minutes, but that's it. If they're not willing to give you 30 minutes because they're so busy, they are a fake buyer, or or which I later discovered, he was trying again. He was trying to get me to coach his team, his sales team, for the price of one individual. And I told him I wouldn't do it. You have to be willing to walk away from sales. Don't be desperate and hang on to those dead horses. Don't do it. Just get rid of them, because chances are they're never going to buy. Wes, I bet you have had this situation as well. Have you?
I most certainly have. And you talk about the dead horses. I always say you can't throw alarm clocks into the graveyard and wake the dead. And it's so true. And it's one of those situations where qualifying a customer and a potential client, if they don't have the time to go through and do the initial consultation, they're also not going to work with you through the just general day-to-day stuff. So I think that by going through and doing that, it's a great way to kind of vet who you want to work with and who is real and who is fake. And I've absolutely had that. So I can't thank you enough for bringing up the fact that you want to find out how you can provide something that the other people can't, because at the end of the day we all provide something very similar. It's that differentiating circumstances that you provide, as you more than know, I coach people to sell themselves, not what they sell. So that's so important in this process. And just absolutely paramount, to finding the people that are interested versus tire kickers.
That's right. And Wes, I was a prospect of yours. On that initial phone call, how long did we talk?
A long time, much
It
longer
was
than
like 2 hours.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone, I just want you to remember, what Wes has said. There I go with my lisp again, Wes. Get rid of the ones that are kicking the tires. You don't need those bogging you down on the hopes that one day they'll buy, because they won't. They're just tire kickers, as Wes said.
Yeah, they
So,
absolutely are.
yeah. So let me get out my cheat sheet again to make sure I covered everything. Um, I did. So I want to leave you with this parting thought, and that is, you all know that when it's a real client, a real prospect, you're going to give them as much time as they need in order to determine whether you're a fit for them or whether they're a fit for you. Don't bother with the ones that only can give you 10 minutes because they're so busy. No, they're not. They're playing you. So be savvy when selling. And savvy doesn't mean, somebody said that to me, why do you call yourself the savvy sales lady? Doesn't that mean you're manipulating? No, it doesn't. Savvy means being educated and being intentional. And it has nothing to do with manipulation. Your time as a salesperson is just as valuable as the time that the prospect is either giving you or not giving you. You are a valued necessity in the world. A business cannot grow unless they're selling. They'll be out of business. So keep in mind, you are valuable in the sales profession. So once you treat yourself as a sales professional, your prospects will see you as a sales professionals. Don't let them kick your tires. You decide who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. So remember, sales is a journey. It's not a quick trip around the block. Now I'll see you next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And if you're not following me on social media, it's just at the Savvy Sales Lady. You're missing so much content. And be sure to sign up for my newsletter, Focus Drop, where each week only you guys that signed up on the subscriber list for the Focus Drop gets that message. That content is not put out anywhere else. It's exclusive to my subscriber base. So go sell something, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.